What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode. It's Max here. Now, on this video, I just thought I'd kind of get into some more technical skills because I've had a few people reaching out to me recently asking me the best ways to kind of make contact with prospective clients. Now, the thing is, I thought this would be quite self-explanatory, but again, I've been working in sales and recruitment for years. So for me, picking up the telephone and calling someone and just making contact with them isn't that big of a deal. But I appreciate for a lot of people that either don't have sales experience or are a little bit more timid in their personality, it's, I suppose, a bigger hurdle to overcome, and it might not be so obvious to them. So one of the things I would say is, first and foremost, if you're going to work in recruitment or you're going to work in sales, you have to realise that the telephone is your best friend. It's your best friend, it's your ally, and it's your number one weapon. Your number one weapon, if you're like an army general, in the War for Wall Street. I mean, he says to be telephone terrorist. Now, I'm not going to go that far, but I would say that the telephone's your best friend, and you need to be calling people, making them aware of who you are, what you do, and what you can offer, and making sure that they know about your services. Now, I would say to ring people 3 or 4 times. If you're trying to get in touch with, say, John Smith, he's the, head of sales for, Kellogg's or something, then I would say make sure you call John 3 or 4 times and you try to get through to him. After you've made several phone calls, if you can't get him on the phone, I would say leave him a voicemail. Leave him a voicemail. Again, a quick summary of who you are. Leave your contact details, your email address, and just say what you're offering. I would also try to get an email address. Now, the thing is, there's 2 ways to go about getting an email address mainly. You can ask the receptionist. She might give it to you, she might not. But with all these softwares that we have now, being able to get email addresses isn't that hard. So realistically, it's 2022. So unless someone's the director of the CIA or the FBI or works for Joe Biden or Boris Johnson in the government, you should be able to get their email address. So use a program. You can, I think DuckSoup, you can use that to harvest emails. You can use Email Hunter. There's a number of services you can use to find people's emails. So use one of them. Make sure you're getting people's emails. Send them an email, a clean email. Send them it. Explain what you do. Not too much waffle, and offer them your services. Now, at that point, I would say you've obviously made a pretty good effort to contact them. If you want to go a step further, you can also message them on LinkedIn. Now, I've spoken to some recruiters and they don't believe in messaging clients on LinkedIn. They're like, oh no, I just message candidates on there. I have closed deals a number of times from being willing to just send a director a message on LinkedIn. It's paid off a lot for me. But I don't know why some recruiters think it's like a bad thing. I suppose it's just because they think LinkedIn is maybe just for contacting candidates or something. But in my opinion, it's not. So get on LinkedIn and send them a message on there. But one of the things you need to be doing is you need to be aware that if you want people to do business with you, you need to make sure you're getting attention. Because if people don't know who you are, I think Grant Cardone said on one of his videos, because when I was a little bit younger, I used to watch Grant Cardone. When I was just getting into recruitment, I started watching him and I found his stuff quite helpful to kind of, I suppose, inspire and motivate me. So yeah, I would say his mantra on you need to make people aware who you are and get attention. It's it's very important, because if a company has never heard of you and they don't know what you offer, how can you expect them to do business with you? Now, don't get me wrong. You could contact them this first time and they might not want to do business with you. You could contact them a second time and they might not want to do business with you. But the thing is, every time you've contacted the guy, if you update your CRM and make sure you track him when you contact him, you don't contact him, every day for, 52 weeks, then eventually he's going to be probably start to consider you, or possibly start to consider doing business with you if he's the person that can make that decision. Now, I know a salesman in the UK, and I've spoke with him a number of times. I got him a job a number of years ago, and he said to me, Max, the average order value in the industry that I sell products in is about £15,000. Now, he said to me, he chased down a very large client for 5 years, and eventually he got a £200,000 order out of them. Now, that's the biggest order he's ever had, or anyone in that company has ever had, for that product range. And he said he chased them down for 5 years before they'd do business with him. Now, you guys that aren't doing this, or you're kind of scared to contact people or whatever, you need to realise that you need to be motivated, you need to be persistent in a controlled manner, and you need to make sure that the prospective client is fully aware of who you are, what you offer, and what you can do for them. And eventually, it'll be tough not to crack if they're a difficult client, but you will get there in the end. But you have to do it in a measured, respectful, and clean way. You can't just be ringing the guy every day, on his lunch, please will you do business with me, please will you do business with me. It needs to be kind of a tasteful approach and updated in your CRM and made aware of when you last contacted him and when you plan on doing next, or when can I give you a call next, how about in 2 months, when are you planning to maybe relook at your recruitment services, will you add new agencies or something like that. So measure your approach, be consistent, and then eventually you will get clients. And those clients that are a bit more difficult to do business with you, if you're offering something that they can use, they probably will eventually do business with you. So I just thought I'd come in today with a bit more of a, I suppose, technical video with some practical advice, because some of the stories I've told in the past about how I got into recruitment, what I've been up to, are pretty interesting. I've got some even more interesting stories. I mean, some of the stories I've got are kind of crazy, but I mean, I don't like saying some of them, but then some of them are too interesting for me not to say. Like when I closed an 11 grand deal, in Taiwan. And it was pretty awesome. I ended up having a pretty good time over there. But I want to keep it professional on all that stuff for the channel. So this one's a practical advice video. So if you've got any comments, if you've got any input, if you agree, if you disagree, tell me in the comments below, because it all helps the algorithm, the content. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye bye.